Romeo and Juliet. Family. The play opens with the chorus describing the feud between the two families. Two households both alike in dignity. The Capulets and the Montagues. The audience is not told what the feud is about, only that it is an ancient feud. The chorus informs us that the feud has broken out into new mutiny. This means that the families have started fighting again. We see this in Act 1, Scene 1, when the servants of both families brawl in the streets. The fight in the opening scene demonstrates the intensity of the bad feelings between the two families. The theme of conflict and honour is deeply connected to the theme of family. The fights that happen throughout the play are a result of the ongoing conflict between the families. It is the feud between the families that keeps Romeo and Juliet apart. Lord and Lady Capulet are Juliet's parents. Lord Capulet is the head of the Capulet household. Juliet is her only daughter. Whoever she marries will inherit their property and money. Lord and Lady Montague are Romeo's parents. Lord Montague is the head of the Montague household. Romeo is their only son. When Tybalt sees Romeo, a Montague, at his uncle's party, he becomes furious. He sees Romeo's presence as an insult to his family's honour and considers killing Romeo in revenge. The concept of family was an important one for Elizabethans. Family, also known as kin, does not just include immediate family, but includes extended family. It can also include others who show allegiance. Loyalty to family was expected, and marriages were often used as a way to unite families. These marriages would be arranged by the head of the household, not by the bride and groom. Within hours of meeting at Lord Capulet's party, the couple declare that they will renounce their families to be together. Juliet wonders if Romeo might refuse his name and abandon his family to be with her. Juliet also promises to renounce her family ties, saying, "I'll no longer be a Capulet." Romeo promises to get rid of his name because it is an enemy of their love. He says he'll be new baptized and happily receive a new name if it means they can be together. The image of being baptized metaphorically demonstrates his willingness to be reborn into a new family. Names in Romeo and Juliet symbolize their different families. Both Romeo and Juliet declare that they would renounce their family ties in order to be together. Abandoning their old family loyalties so readily demonstrates the strength of their love, and their marriage forges a new family. By Act 3, Romeo's family loyalties to the Montagues have changed. He is now married into the Capulet family and feels duty towards his Capulet kinsman. He refuses to fight Tybalt because now that he has married Juliet, Tybalt is now his cousin too. When Mercutio fights with Tybalt in Act 3, Romeo is torn. In Act 3, Scene 1, Romeo struggles to accept Tybalt as his kinsman once that Mercutio is dead, given that he killed him. Romeo feels his reputation and honour have been stained by his failure to protect Mercutio. He blames his marriage to Juliet for having softened his steel. Here, the word steel refers to both his sword and his courage, which has been weakened by his union with the Capulet family. If he had not married into the Capulet family, perhaps Romeo would have been quicker to defend Mercutio against Tybalt. It is perhaps ironic that his attempt to defend his new family by avoiding conflict with Tybalt actually escalates into conflict. Mercutio is killed in the confusion when Romeo tries to step in. Act 3 is the climax or turning point of the play. Tybalt is the first family member to be killed, and this will go on to fuel the conflict between the Montagues and Capulets. With Romeo's banishment, any chance of Romeo and Juliet persuading their families to share in their happy union has vanished. Romeo's banishment forces Juliet to realise that the loss of her husband is more painful than the loss of her father and mother. Saying, Romeo is banished, to speak that word is father, mother, Tybalt, Romeo, Juliet, all slain, all dead. Her allegiance has now changed, and she is now loyal to her new family with Romeo. At the end of the play, the death of Romeo and Juliet unites the families. As the prologue promised, the death of Romeo and Juliet has buried their parents' strife. The play has come full circle, and the tragedy has played itself out. The Montague and the Capulets agree to build a statue of the other's child in pure gold. This final dialogue between the former enemies is written in iambic pentameter. Their newfound harmony is emphasised when they complete each other's lines of iambic pentameter. Can I demand, but I can give thee more. The prince loses two family members during the play, Paris and Mercutio. He describes Mercutio as my blood. He considers himself to be punished by the loss of his family for not intervening in the feud earlier. This highlights how the feud affects all levels of society. In summary, the feud between the Capulets and the Montague families dominates the play. It is the feud that keeps Romeo and Juliet apart. Romeo and Juliet break their loyalties to their old families when they marry. However, Romeo's rage at Mercutio's death causes Romeo to kill Tybalt, his new cousin. The death of Romeo and Juliet is the only thing that could unite the two families. There are wider families in Verona affected by the feud. The prince has lost two family members by the end of the play.